Hello, welcome to Garden Chronicles. My name is James David, and in today's video, I would like to talk about this particular alocasia known as Alocasia Sarian. And this is particularly more on the plant review sold on this particular shopping mall here. So here basically I'll be talking a little bit more on the plant care and maintenance and how to care for them. So sit back and enjoy the show. Just a little introduction concerning Alocasia plant. Alocasia is separated differently from a genus where it is identified as an Alephania plant. Similarly, like the Colocasia and even the rare collection known as Jewel Alocasias. Coming to the little bit of the information on the origin concerning Alocasia Sarian, it is being said that it's a hybrid between two different Alocasias. However, there is also another source that says that it is a natural species, a native species plant from the Philippines, named after an agricultural journalist named as Zac B. There have now been a contention here where it is now to be said that two different sources is mentioning that it is either a hybrid or it is a native plant from Philippines. Whichever the matter is, for me in my context here is that I just love this lovely plant, and I'm sure by then a lot of things will be sorted out. But in this context here, it's more on my concern in plant care and how to maintain them, and so I would like to share my thoughts on this particular plant. One of the factors that I've realized here is that Sarian seems to be a little bit more hardy compared to most of the Alocasia plants, especially the ones that comes from Borneo, where they can be very finicky and super sensitive. Sarian, however, can weather the storm and has the ability to handle a little bit more on the overwatering side, and also in the factor of being hardy in any context of whatever medium that is been planted upon. If you look over here, the features of this particular plant, they do appear to have a longitudinal type of leaf form, and their stem, the petiole, appears to be very much on a corrugated zebra kind of a look. In a way, I can say it does have some appearance features of 2 or 3 different cross breeds between Alocasias. However, I can say that I can be wrong in any way because there are so many different varieties that is available right now, and a lot more has been discovered over time. So it can be discovered from nature, where it is actually brought in from native plant and is introduced as an ornament plant, or it can be crossbreed and is brought in as an ornament plant. One of the things that I really admire about Sarian here is that it can be very hardy, and I have seen a bigger version of it, truly as big as an Alephania plant, which I have seen where it has been planted in one singular tall pot, and it appears to be very magnificent. So in a way, I can say that this plant can be slow growing, yet it can be lasting, unlike the ones, the jewel type, where the plant appears to be more on a smaller type of a dwarf like plant, where it can be finicky that when it's overwatered, the whole root ball, inclusive of the tuber, can succumb to root rot. Now, my suggestion coming to a medium here is that, especially when it comes to Alocasia, the best would be fast draining, composed of compost together with cocoa chips and sand. However, I've also noticed that other fast draining media such as perlite can also do a job together with other fast draining materials. Now, in most cases, I've noticed that when it comes to potting medium, I often find that all of these particular plants are actually planted in cocoa peat. I have bad experience with cocoa peat in a way that I find that in most cases, almost 100% of all the plants that's grown on cocoa peat does not do well in my garden condition, which will succumb to root rot. Hence, I will always uproot and repot them according to my condition where it is suitable in my garden. This is the particular Sarian that I've recently purchased which I've actually introduced in my garden, and you can see here that it appears to be very fresh looking, brilliant, and it is still recovering from the earlier shock where when I actually gotten it, two of the leaves have actually withered away. So in a way, it will take time for the plant to recover from shock and will eventually pick up. So do take note on overwatering because they can also succumb to root rot. Eventually, once the plant stabilizes and grows big, I believe that there's nothing much to worry about as it can actually acclimatize to the garden condition. Just like most Alocasia plants, their need is very much uniform when it comes to lighting, bright shaded area, not to be overwatered, and have occasionally light fertilizing foliar fertilizer on them. Together in here is a collection of my Sarian and my Bambino, which I find that they can go together in keeping them collectively in a shaded context in my garden space. Now coming back to setbacks, if we can notice over here that there is a kind of a leaf rot taking place over here. This can be a little bit more on the factor where it can be a fungus infection, also can be an overwatering issue. So these are the things that you really have to watch out for, because when this kind of things takes place, immediate action may be needed. In most cases, you may have to trim off the plant before the infection spreads to the whole plant. Another aggressive action that it can be done is the use of a fungicide upon it to control this kind of infection. Another thing that I've actually noticed here, there's a light infection on a kind of a spider mite or aphid, a kind of a insect infection here, which I have not come across before, but I'm suspecting it can be a type of mites. So in a way, these are the things, telltale signs of when a plant is not really doing well, because it is not been receiving good lighting or circumstances where infection can take place, and these are the problems that this kind of plants actually faces. So in a way, I can say that like most Alocasias and Colocasias, this kind of pests do attack them when the plant is weak or succumbs to a circumstance where optimum conditions are not met. So these are the things that you have to watch out for when it comes to pest, fungus, and leaf rot. Well, this is a short review of my garden plants. If you have any questions, do put them in a comment below, and I try my best to answer them according to my best ability. If you can, please click like and subscribe and support my channel. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.